I've been in legal practice for nearly 45 years. I've had to look at many different types of legislation, and I've had to learn how to interpret legislation in a way that the courts process pretty much every day of the week. And so looking through this statute, the End of Life Choice Act, which we are considering part of our law in New Zealand, what is the process that's required, and is it safe, secure, watertight? My answer to that is no. I've got serious concerns about the process. I don't think we've had a referendum like this in New Zealand before. The difference is that in many referenda, people vote for a particular concept, a particular policy, or a particular idea, and that is then later implemented by an Act of Parliament. In this referendum, the Act of Parliament has already been finalised, and it has now been put out to the public to vote on whether that legislation should come into force or not, which means that the public are being asked essentially to apply a legal analysis, to think like a lawyer and work out what this legislation means. Does it have the appropriate safeguards to protect vulnerable people? Does it have appropriate processes to mean that the way the Act works in practice is going to be appropriate? This is a tricky issue, but the worst thing that could happen would be for people to say, well, that's too hard for me, I'm not a lawyer, how can I be expected to do this? This is a matter of life and death. It's a matter that affects our community in a very big way, because it is the only legislation we have in New Zealand that gives someone the ability to kill another person. And so we really need to start looking at what the Act says, what it requires, and what it doesn't do before we can make a decision about how to vote. But please, don't simply say, I'm not going to vote because it's too difficult. We all need to apply ourselves and to try to find out what the Act requires in order to make a sensible decision about how to vote in this election.